Unboxing time! This is the WellPro WE23 minigun, which that was not sent to me. I actually bought this myself. And why did I do it? Because actually I'm very curious about it. I've been seeing this being in development at the Well factory for a while. I'm visiting there sometimes, and you know, I was really curious to actually, when it comes out, to finally get it. Also, I think it's gonna make for a killer gameplay. So that's why I get it. Let's get into it. I will not just unbox it, but I will also shoot it, and I will also open it to show you guys how it actually works on the inside. So, mag box, plain box with a sticker on, and this is the box of the replica. No artwork on it, so yeah, really nothing special. But I think it's more about what's inside the box, so let's have a look. I'm gonna open it in a way that you guys can actually see it. So we have here, what's all of this stuff? Okay, here we go. The actual replica manual. Gonna take a look at this later, because that's actually quite a new system. Maybe there's something I need to know. And this is, I have no idea, but I know what's that. This is the minigun itself. Well packaged, definitely not a worry that this comes broken. Something else in here? Yes, actually. Bipod front grip, M-lock. Actually kind of cool, it's not as long and clumsy as these used to be. Yeah, why not? This is a spare mag. The gun itself cost me 383 euros. That's that in USD, including tax. And the mag I got separately. And the mag I paid 65 euros. So honestly, I think for an electric feeding magazine, not too bad. Yeah, you're gonna get into this. Stock comes out like this. Yeah, might just be the first wieldable minigun in the market, because I ran the big ones and they are awkward. They are kind of cool because they're minigun and they do all the rotating and moving the different barrels, but they're not really useful. Yeah, you kind of shoot them from the hip and then you can't aim properly. I guess you can mount them on a vehicle, but how many people really have vehicles in Airsoft? So yeah, kind of affordable price for minigun, really. Lots of polymer on it. That's probably why they can make it for that cheap, but yeah, we'll get to the details later. Manual is well, an explosion drawing and a picture of the gun from multiple views. That is not particularly useful, this one, but the explosion drawing might be useful if you need spare parts, which I really don't know if you can get spare parts for this thing. I feel like it's one of these niche products where they're very cool, but if it breaks, then you're kind of screwed. Standard safety thing, and that's it. So no manual, I guess, some targets. Okay, I will have to figure out myself how to operate this thing. What is this for? Oh, okay, I see. This goes on here in the back. Haha, I see. I can put this around my arm and strap it on here. Okay, yeah, either I misunderstand this or this is just completely pointless. Maybe if you run two of them, I think that's what it's for, that you can run two of them. I guess that's gonna look really cool. Is it useful? Not really, but I guess it's nice that they include it. I will not be using that thing, that's for sure. Now, first impression, weight-wise, very manageable. Yeah, not too heavy. I totally see myself wielding this. It's about the weight of a like metal M4 AG, maybe a bit heavier, but not crazy. It's not very long. It has a good length to pull, like this makes sense. Okay, here I see a first maybe not so optimal point. When you look at the stock and the rail, it's literally on one height, which will make aiming with a mask very, very difficult. I think for Airsoft, it's more, you know, this makes more sense where you have a bit of a drop and you really have a lot of space here for your mask, and the height difference between rail and the actual stock is, you know, a couple, maybe 5, 6, 7 centimeters. On this one, we don't have that. It's all at the same height and it's also a wide stock. So cheeking this thing you will need a really high optic, but it's a minigun, so maybe it's not that important that we have a compact low profile red dot. The stock itself seems a bit flimsy somehow, like it wobbles a bit, but maybe that's just the first impression. These rods are, I don't think these are steel, I think those are aluminum. Let me get a magnet. So here we have an AG motor, so that's magnetic. No, this is probably aluminum, which is an interesting material choice for the rods because this will take a lot of weight. I can already see that. I think if I fall on, I mean I can already see them bending. Yeah, like if you fall on this, I think this will break. But I think in general, it kind of follows the design choice of this minigun. So they had to cut corners somewhere. You know, the whole body is polymer, the rail is polymer. This feels solid though, like this entire part feels really solid. And when I collapse the stock and I don't have the flimsy feeling of these two sticks, this is solid, yeah, this feels really solid actually. But as soon as I take the stock out, nah, not a big fan of this one here. So much for the stock. I have a sling connection point, also polymer. That should be strong enough. I don't think that's gonna break. Pistol grip, decent angle, nicely sized with gloves and all that, not gonna be an issue. They put finger grooves. I think it's a trend that's, you know, people don't really like these finger grooves. I'm also not that big of a fan because your fingers never really fall perfectly into place. Your fingers are always too big or too small, and then it's kind of awkward. Like without gloves, I'm exactly on the bump of this thing. I think it's not too big of an issue, but just something to mention. Safety, ambi actually, yeah, ambi safety. Now the magazine, I guess you have to press here. So you press this button here in front, and then this whole thing comes off. So you index it in here, and then you give it a bump. I think you have to give it a bump. If I don't give it a bump, I can also get it in without a bump. We have the rails, these are all polymer. Also the handguard here is polymer, so we have polymer M-lock here. That should be M-lock spec, most likely. The barrels actually look really nice. Like these are also, I think it's the same material as it is on the rod, so it's anodized aluminum, so it should be fairly scratch resistant. And yeah, this is like, again, besides the stock, really nothing to complain here. So let's mount everything and then fire this thing. We have the grip. Let's put the grip on this. I actually quite like this grip. Like I always hated these really long bipod grips, which have this, you know, this button and the bipod comes out. On this one you have the button on the side, and it seems really nice actually. Yeah, let's mount it. But how do I mount it? I'm missing the screws for this thing. See, they're in the box. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's very easy to lose. They are not in a bag, but they just threw them in the box. You have to mount it either forward, or I believe you could also mount it on the side, maybe like this. Good. Yeah, of all the bipod grips that I experienced, this might just be the one that makes the most sense because it's not this awkward long thing. Okay, let's load it and let's put in a battery. Here is a little hinge door. So you flip this open. And here I would assume, yes, here is the Dienst connector. Is this battery small enough? Now this is already a short battery. This is not the typical 1450 milliamps that people usually run in their M4s. And I actually think the long one will not fit. I will get one real quick. So this is what most people run in the AGs these days. Let's see if this fits. Maybe. No, I can't close it. I think it's possible. If I don't want to squeeze the battery this much, but it's probably possible to get it in there. But you're better off with a shorter one, that's for sure. So let's just put this one. That's an 11-1, by the way. Also not super easy. Okay, here we go. Good. Safety on. Always keep in mind when you unbox a fresh BB gun that actually they shoot them at the factories. Like every single factory that I've been to, they shoot at least a couple BBs through even the cheapest brands. It can happen that there's BBs inside this gun. Also sometimes customs test it and leave BBs inside. So always make sure to have iPro on and just shoot in a safe direction. Sounds good actually. It sounds quite clean. Also because, you know, the way this works is that you have multiple cylinders and multiple pistons and they run along a ramp. So I think you maybe have less gears than in an HE, and that's why it sounds like this. And also I believe that you will not have a pinion gear in the same way. I think it's like the motor is actually in line with the rest of the gears, so maybe that's why it sounds quite clean. You also feel when you shoot it, like it turns the gun a little bit. Yeah, I don't know if you can see this, but it always tilts a little bit like this because of the mass of the rotation. It's not annoying, it's just an interesting feeling. By the way, there's iron sights I just saw, so you do have. I mean, these are completely useless. No way in the world I could use these iron sights. I would have to shoot it like this, but I guess they are there. Very pointless. Maybe if you remove the stock and you run it like a pistol, you could use it. But with this stock, yeah, completely useless. I feel like in general they didn't think too much about this whole stock thing. Also, I wish they would have made multiple locking points because, you know, when I press here, I couldn't choose to have it a bit shorter if I would want to. Or if you're maybe a bit of a, you know, smaller person. Maybe you're one of these kids playing, you know, maybe 8 years old and you want to run this thing because it is light enough. It's a bit hard to do because there's only one locking position. It's also spring loaded a little bit. Comes out slightly, but not all the way. Okay, let's fill it with BBs. Now, one thing I really enjoy is that these mags don't have a battery. They have a mechanical connection. Here you see the gears on this mag. Hope you can see it. And then it interfaces with these gears here. So when I pull the trigger, put it on fire. So the gun itself turns the gear on the magazine, which makes the whole thing feed. Brilliant, really liked it. I turn this and it comes out. Here's the spring that pushes everything into the mechanism. I do like this more than on the classic Army microgun because you can actually run magazines, because you couldn't do this on the microgun. On the microgun you had in the front actually a little plug which you had to take out and then fill the whole replica with it. That is a nice touch also, you know, if the magazine breaks you can get a new one. Because those feeding mechanisms, I don't know how reliable these will be. So that is a really nice touch. Okay, something strange just happened. On this magazine, only this part came out, but on that magazine, the whole top came out and it's exposed now this thread, which was screw glued, but apparently not enough. So I'm gonna screw this back together. Ah, you're supposed to press, okay. My mistake. You have to press here and then pull. It's not turning. I thought it's a bayonet lock, but you actually have to press these two wings together and then you take it out. So all perfect. Let's fill it. It's a nice big empty space, easy to fill. So these magazines are advertised with 600 BBs. Also here it says 600. So you have this viewing window. Also really nice touch, so you can keep monitoring how many BBs you have left. I'm gonna fill it all the way to 600. Yeah, I'm just arriving at the line. I'm a little worried that I can't close it anymore. Let's see. Yeah, exactly what I feared. Gonna take out a few. So now that would be, I guess, 500. If those numbers are correct even. I'm gonna count them. Good, that's closed. Second one. I'm using 0.25s, by the way. There's nothing in the manual. So, yeah, I think 25s might just be the best for this one. Well guns have never really been famous for hopping heavy BBs, right? So I'm using 25s, and I think that's gonna be just right. But we'll see. Let's fire the thing. Actually kind of excited. I'm shooting here at around 10 meters and the BB is already dropping, so I guess this thing is hop-up? Hop-up adjustable. Well, it says that the hop-up is adjustable, so let's look at the explosion drawing. Maybe that will give me some ideas. Well, I see 5 hop-up chambers and they actually have a rotary style adjustment hop-up. How in the world am I gonna access these? Maybe through the mag? Also interesting, when you shoot it, it empties the feeding channel. Guess that makes sense. Oh, I see. Okay, this is very interesting. So here on the inside of the mag well, you have these orange wheels, orange reddish, and there's numbers on them. So every time when you shoot, it changes the chamber. You know, you kind of have to just rotate it and adjust each single of the 5 chambers. That's gonna be a process. Okay, this one is at 0. Let's put it at, I don't know, let's say 6. The thing is I can actually turn it manually. Well, so, okay, careful. This thing also shoots when you turn it manual, which makes sense because there's this ramp bringing the pistons back. Don't do it like me, don't put your hand in front here. Make sure it points in the safe direction because maybe you still have BBs inside. Yeah, they should put this in the safety manual. Well, they didn't. All right, good that I didn't shoot my hand, I guess. So this one is on 6. This is also much more convenient than on a microgun, because on a microgun you had to turn the barrel manually and then you had to adjust it with an Allen key and you never knew on which setting you were. So this is actually a massive improvement over the microgun. Really like that. I mean, hop-up adjustment in the field is going to be a pain, I tell you that. It's going to be terrible. But already much better than what I'm used to from the microgun. Good. Let's see if it's better now. Man, I really can't aim down that rail because this stock is... I really hate this stock. Yeah. The spread is crazy wide at this distance, but we're gonna test it now at the 40-meter range. Okay, now this is the setup for the game, meaning all the cameras are attached. Zoom cam mounted to the polymer handguard. Then here is just an aluminum rod bolted also onto the handguard. You can see it right here. Little extension, so it's out of the way of the BBs because the BB flies out, you know, on the top barrel. So it's hopefully not gonna hit the camera. But that's the idea. Now, why did I put it this far forward? I wanted this camera basically sees the rotation of the barrels. I think that's gonna look cool. Maybe even see the BBs flying. Front grip still mounted, so the bipod is still there. Not sure if I'm actually gonna use it. Power banks to make sure the cameras are running, especially because I'm playing in the cold and these cameras can be sensitive to the cold. Razor for the red dot. I talked about it before. It's a wide stock, quite high, so I need to get that additional height. And yeah, we're gonna check how far this thing shoots. The magazine is right here. .2s are loaded. Let's see what it does. These are about 10 meters. Yeah, that's definitely effective. Let's go further back. We have a total of 40 meters available of indoor range. I was told this thing only shoots about 0.5 joules, which is not a lot, but maybe the rate of fire makes up for it. Let's also turn on the red dot. Yeah, still effective. Now these are about 40 meters. I doubt that it can do it, but let's just see. Okay, I can see definitely a curve to the right, so it might just be, let's look at the rotation. Which is funny because it rotates towards the left, but the BBs go to the right. Wait, the barrel goes this way while the BB passes, so it gets friction on the right side of the barrel, and that's why it turns right. Birk, okay, why does it turn to the right? Now, Birk has his personal one open. Can you show us how this thing works?
Yes, so this is in the receiver, and then there's just a motor with the gearbox that twists these, and they just pull them up the ramp and release it. And that's how it was shooting to the right. The release is tilted off to the side like this, so it's firing when it's not straight.
So where does it release?
It releases about here.
Okay, meaning that the unit sits like this while it leaves the barrel. Okay, well, there we go. We have a right turn, meaning that I will probably have to run this gun in a, I don't know, 30-degree angle. Let's try if it gets better. Oh yeah. Okay, I would say this is... Yeah, that's about max range. So 40, maybe 45 meters is what this thing can do. Will be good for the field that I'm going to, because there's a lot of, you know, CQB and shorter distances. Yeah, definitely not a long range gun, but again, it's 0.5 joules-ish. Let's actually chrono, see what it can do. Chrono is over there. So 0.2s are giving us the best trajectory. So let's see how much power we're getting. 0.5. So it's kinda like an AP, but a lot bigger, but it shoots faster. So I guess that is the biggest downside of this one. I mean, I talked about the construction of the stocks and how I don't like that. The power is a massive limitation. That I have to tilt this whole thing to shoot straight, that's a bit of an oversight, I believe, from Well. Maybe they will fix it at some point, probably not. This is, I guess, how it's gonna be in the market for a while. But yeah, we're gonna see at the game how competitive it's gonna be.